is Jeff Wilson Jr. a top 10 running back? Before you scoff at the question, I'm just going to put some stats out there. Stats don't point the whole picture, but here's why I'm asking. Let's take away last year, which was a wash year. He was hurt the whole year. If you take 2020 and this year, 5 years this year, he played 12 games in 2020. That's 17 games. That's a season. He's got 12 touchdowns, about a little under 1,200 yards from scrimmage, average about 4.9 yards per carry. Those are respectable numbers. What do you think? Is he knocking on the door?
This season, yeah. Because I'm looking around the league, what running backs? I feel like the running backs has really dwindled this year. Even the top end ones that we're used to seeing, like Dalvin Cook, only like a game or good too. Good.
Yeah, he's having a tough time.
Christian McCaffrey, but
just saw him.
Really, the only ones I know they're like absolutes right now is obviously Nick Chubb.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs now after that last.
For sure.
Game. Not saying top 5, but maybe he might be top 5. Leonard Fournette because he can do both. Not even Jonathan Taylor's doing good. So, I mean, shoot, there's a lot of – so this year, hell yeah. And there's probably a case you can even make for top 8 if you really want to, dive into it. But, yeah, this year it's no one's running as well, and that's a huge credence to me about what the blocking is doing because there was one play in that first quarter, I believe. I think it was the Jeff Wilson one where he ripped it off for 30 where I swear you could have ran a car through that lane, dude. Yeah. It was so wide open. So you get a – I'm not going to blame him for not taking advantage of that. I'm not going to take away points, but hey, he's probably running the ball sweet. And sure, he's not being utilized in the pass blocker, but look, the way they're staying afloat after that first week 1 game, you owe an apology because he looks slow. It looks like
dude, I feel so bad for saying that. It was 1 game. They were in the rain. I was so wrong, Jeff. I'm so sorry. What I want to say, what I love, he's a really good player. I wrote him off way too soon. It was off. I was wrong. What I like about him so far this year, his 2 touchdown runs, both came from 30 yards out.
Nasty.
And while he did have big holes, he had to spot the cutback. Both were right, quick cutbacks in the backfield. It was okay. I mean, good vision and good, wasn't indecisive at all. And then in the open field, didn't try to slow down, make a move. He's just running right to just running by people. I didn't know he was this fast. I had no idea. He's really good. See, to the point where when Elijah Mitchell comes back, you can't just put this guy back for 4 carries a game. He's way too good for that. You got to give him at least 10 carries a game, no matter what.
Go back to the 2019 script, man. Give somebody I'm not even sure. Look, we talked about that last question about the slow rotation. Mitchell needs to be the 8 to 10 carry guy when he comes back. Because he's injury prone. I think it's official. He's got that label now. Where Jeff Wilson, look, that guy's not only just has explosiveness, which again, too, I didn't even think that. I thought he was a good runner and you wrote him off quickly, but I did not see him have that explosive, that huge straight to the end zone ability. I thought he was more so it'd be a solid, all right, a big run for him would be 10 to 15. Not 20.
He's more explosive than Mitchell. Mitchell didn't have these long runs last year.
No, he
didn't. Maybe not. He really didn't, though. He didn't have that many. Yeah.
I think if Miss Wilson has better vision, I think
so. I don't know. They're both good. They're both really good.
Here's
Here's my question for you. Has he taken his game to another level, or has he always been good and has he sort of been a victim of roster politics? I mean, to me, he was pretty good in 2019 when they went to the Super Bowl, but he was caught behind Tevin Coleman. What if he had been actually getting some real playing time back then?
I think he's always been this good. Probably got a little better, but I think he's always been good. And I thought it became clear after that Patriots game, because look, that Patriots defense, especially team, might have been on their down year. But look, that defense is always going to put on a show, put on a clinic against an offense, no matter who, because Bill Belichick doesn't play. That defense will look and do something against you to hold you up for as long as you can, and they're fairly stout for the most part. And Jeff Wilson just ran all over them. So I don't think this is a fluke. He's definitely probably gotten a little bit better, but I think now what we're seeing is he's getting opportunities. I mean, he's definitely improved. Where Tylenol, it's almost like the Tylenol Fung of last year, where it's look, he was kind of skeptical last year in his opportunities, but he's definitely was a clear cut. I got better. I'm getting helped. Whereas Jeff Wilson didn't really get the opportunities.
I think his story's great. He went to a little school. He was undrafted. The Niners had him on their practice squad. They cut him multiple times after training camp and after good preseasons. No one else saw the talent. He kept latching on. He was better than people ahead of him on this depth chart for years. He hung around. They drafted Trey Sermon last year. They drafted Ty Davis Price this year. If they really were sold on Jeff Wilson, they wouldn't have done that. And all of a sudden, he's the last man standing. And he's really freaking good. And it's like, man, he might have been this good the whole time. I don't know. I think it's a great story. It's a hell of a story. I hope he gets to go to a Pro Bowl or something.
I just hope when, like we just said, Mitchell comes back, Kyle, please do not heavily use Mitchell off the bat. Just incorporate it. Use the two.
Yeah.
Your offense, like, here's the thing. If you're a good coach, you use all of your good players. You just don't you just don't look at it like a piece of pie and say, I'm going to use this sliver and forget the rest. Like, no, you got to use the whole thing, man. Like you did the last game. That's why I thought everything came together. You have to use all your players. We talked about it before. What is this secret weapon for this offense? Last year it was Debo, and we're like, there's no one this year. So what's going to happen? Use all your players, because we can't talk. We continually talk about how talented this offense is, but wouldn't you want to use them all to a degree, even if it's just like a couple of looks?
Also, the name of the game this year for the Niners is not bringing back people too early and football shape. Like with Elijah Mitchell, you got to remember he wasn't there for OTAs and minicamp. He was coming off surgery. Then he got to training camp, played for like 2 weeks, got hurt, came back week 1, got hurt. So he's not in football shape and probably never will be this year. So next year he could lead the league in rushing next year. But this year it's Jeff Wilson's backfield. Mm-hmm. And this guy's only coming in to contribute if he's 100% healthy. Because he won't be in football shape.
Like if Jeff Wilson comes off a huge 10 to 20 plus yard run, okay, cool. Mitchell's fresh. Get in there. We'll just keep battering, ramming that defense and make them tap out.
Yeah. J55F100 says, Grant, my dude, you need to get the dude who did Croc's intro to do yours. Oh, mine isn't obnoxious enough for you? And where is Vish? Vish is on Twitter. Vish is on YouTube. You got to check him out. Vish has got his own channel now, and you can give him super chats and put money directly in his pocket, which he deserves because he does a great job. Make sure you follow him on YouTube and Twitter. David Velez says, do you know what the 49ers record is when Bosa and Debo play? You mentioned it once a while ago, and it was astronomically high when they both play. No, but that's something I should look up. David.
He did. I think you have mentioned it, like, when Debo.
I have.
I don't know if it's playing. I think it was when he gets a certain amount of carries or targets or some usage or something.
I don't know. But, David, I will look that up, and I'm going live with Jesse in a few hours, so I'll address that at that time. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Sean Green says, I know Niners need blocking, but they ever going to use Kittle like we did with VD in the 2012 playoffs, 2013 season? It's frustrating with his salary usage. I mean, did you see him this week? It's kind of hard to knock Kyle's usage when they featured him and he fumbled. He's averaging 3 yards after the catch per reception this year. That's not Kittle. He used to be 9, 10. He's not a yak bro this year. He's not. He's just a bro.
Last week, when we were talking about Kittle's usage, like what was the issue? What's the deal?
I think we see it.
And I thought, look, and him bringing up Vernon Davis just reminds me. It makes me even think I was more right and not just floating it out. He doesn't think Kittle's that great of a route runner or receiver. He's a good one, but he's not that great. And it looks like he's dialed it back with injuries. And if we're talking about, we shouldn't even mention Vernon Davis as George Kittle in the same breath as a receiver, because Vernon Davis was light years. Kittle's a sweet all-around player, but come on, they're not the same way as impactful as a receiving.
Kittle was better after the catch. Vernon Davis was never good after the catch, but he was way faster.
Better route runner.
I mean, well, he was kind of a terrible route runner.
Yeah, he would round out some of it, but
he would round out some of the routes. But he had his speed was crazy. He legit had 4.3 speed. Kittle was just really explosive and quick. His stop-start. You could throw screens. Who throws screens to a tight end? You could do that stuff with him. Not anymore. Not anymore. He's not a threat. I mean, honestly, when he starts running after the catch, I'm thinking, fumble. Like, he's going to get tagged. He's not making anyone miss. He has 0 broken tackles this year. Debo just totally took his role in the offense. What Kittle used to do, Debo does now. You can't call him a yak bro anymore. I'm sorry. You got to break 1 tackle to be in the club. You got to read 1 Dr. Seuss book. You got to read 1 page of a Harry Potter. I'm just kidding.
Play action that hasn't been there, like I said last week too. It wasn't there. Look, the first play they got him on play action. I was like, well, play action is going to Kittle, and he didn't shake off that defender. No.
James says, how do we stop future Hall of Fame Cordell Patterson? IR. He's hurt. Yeah, that's how you stop. He's on IR.
They got Caleb Huntley, a rookie, undrafted rookie, a rookie. They got
someone
Tyler
else.
Allegre.
Allegre is how you pronounce his name. That's cool. I was wondering. Trey Niner says, Grant, I'm throwing this idea out there now because I think it's a smart move. Niners need to franchise tag Jimmy and then trade him. No, you can't. There is no franchise tagging allowed in his restructured contract. Not allowed.